Welcome back, guys. I told you about local styles. So right now I want to create our local styles, but I'll use the help of ChatGPT. ChatGPT is the most popular AI tool I know. I want to design a website for my brand named Lad Creative Studio. It is a tech brand and I want to create a Figma local style variables for the design. Can you help me out? Yeah, so let's prompt this. So just talk to ChatGPT as if you're talking to someone, and yes, we're going to just use this. So give me the style guide. I'll just ask for the style guide. So this is something like this. So I'll say give me the style guide. So I'll just say give me the style guide for this brand so I could set it on Figma. So this will make our work easier basically, and that's why I'm doing all this. So let's see what we have right now. So it has given us a style guide right here. So let's start by setting that up. So the first thing I want to set is our color palette. Yeah, when you start creating for brands, you need to set up your color palette. So you will come to local styles, and the first style we want to work on is color. So let's work on color. So right now the color says a tech focus blue, which should be the primary color. So we're going to name it a primary color. So we have primary color right here. So I'll say primary color. Okay, and the primary color is this. So let's just say you can, here's the proposed color palette for your tech brand, focusing on modern sleek vibe. You can adjust the tones based on your exact brand identity, but this should work well. So right now this is a tech focused blue, so this is the X code or the RGB code. You could use any of those. So let me use the S code right now. So I'll copy the S code to choose the primary color. This will be our primary color. Copy. So I'm going to paste this, and let's see what that is. So I'll just create style. So I just create style, and let's see what that is. So this is the style I just created. You could edit by using this button. So I'll edit the style, and here we are. Sorry, this is the description, not even the color code. So this is the description. You could say this is the primary color. Just leave the description for now. So for here you're going to input the code, and this is the code right here. So I'm going to just input the code right now, and that's the code. So I'm going to proceed, and right now I just have that edited. That has been edited, and that's our primary color. So the next thing is to work on the secondary color. Yes, so the secondary color says this is it. This is secondary color, and let's use the secondary color as well. So this is a fresh green for a tech innovation vibe. Yeah, RGB. So I'm going to say this will be our secondary color. So let's see what the secondary color would be like. So I'm going to use the local style again. I'm going to say color, and this will be named secondary color. Yes, I'll name this secondary color. Yeah, and I'll give it the color code right here. This is an X code. Remember we talked about color codes. You could use RGB, you could use S code, you could use CSS, you could use HSL, you could use HSB, but right now we're using the S code, and all I have to do is to input the S code right here to be sure of what I want to do. So I'm going to input the S code, and that's the S code right there for the secondary color, and that will create a secondary color for us. So the next thing is to create an accented color. So let's create the accent color. So the accent color will be a, as you could see, a bright yellow. So let's create that as well. So let's create the accent color, which is a bright yellow orange for emphasis. Yeah, so let's do that. So let's see what we have right here. So I'm going to create the local style, and I'm going to create the accented color. So I'm going to say accent. Yeah, accent color. So I'm going to just give this, I'm going to give it this honor, and yes, we're going to have that, and this is the accented yellow, as you could see. So we have the primary color, we have the secondary color, and we have the accent color. Yeah, so given to us by ChatGPT. You could change this. You could say you want, I would say I want I want a deep blue. So let's refine that. So I'll say I want a deep blue primary color. I want a deep blue primary color and a yellow secondary color, and a reddish, a deep red accent color. Okay, and we are going to use that. We are going to run with that. So, and I'll say blend blend other colors in the test guide, in the style guide, yeah, in the style guide, to suit the primary, secondary, secondary, and accents color. Yeah, so let's reprompt that. As you could see, we have all the colors already, so let's reprompt that and see what we have right now. So we are going to reprompt that just to make some changes. So let's see what it gives us right now, and this way we're going to proceed with what we have. So let's proceed right now, and we're going to have all that. We're going to have all that done. So let's proceed with what we are doing right now. So we have the colors all set, and we have the accent color. So we have the background color. So let's do, okay, let me just copy that prompt. I don't know why it's not prompting. So let me copy this prompt again, and let me refresh this page. Let me refresh this page right now, and I just refreshed that. So let me just say I want a deep primary color, and yes, create. So this will be refreshed because I'm not logged in. So let's do that. So let's say these are primary color, these are secondary color. So let's proceed and say create a style, create a Figma local style guide from this for my tech brand named Billard Creative. The reason why I'm reprompting this is because I'm not logged into ChatGPT. I'm using the option of not logging in to create this stuff. So Billard Creative Studio. I want to create a website design project for it on Figma. So I need a style guide. Help me with the local style guide parameters. The local style guide parameters. We're going to have that prompted again. So that's what we have right now. So using what we had up there, so let's see if this would go for us. So now we have the primary color. So let's edit that. We've done some already, so let's edit this. So I'm going to come here. So I'm going to try to edit what I have. So I'll say primary color. I'll just say primary color right here. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to change the text. So I'll just start copying and paste. And what is it used for? So we're going to give it, this is the name, deep blue, so it's used for background, header, navigation bar, footer. So let's copy that. Let's paste that right there into the description, and right now we're going to paste the color code which says this. So this is a deep blue color code. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste the color code right here. So we have that, and that is a deep blue. So I'm going to just use that for now. I'm going to use that, and that has been edited for the primary color. Then we go to the secondary color. The secondary color says a vibrant yellow. So I'm going to just name it secondary color. So I'll copy this. I'll come back here to edit this. I'll use this to edit. Then I'll paste that right now. So we have secondary color, and what is it used for? The use case is right here. So I'm going to copy this. Yeah, I'm going to paste this right now, and that way I'm going to give it the properties, which is the color code. So right here I have the color code. I'm going to copy the color code right now. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste this right now. So you could see this is used for buttons, icons, highlighted text. Yeah, we are good to go. So I'm going to leave that right now. Yes, and the accent color. Yeah, so I'm going to edit the accent color as well. So let's edit the accent color which is given to us from here. So it says crimson red. Yes, so I'm going to copy that. I'm going to rename this accent color. And what is it used for? So the use case for the accent color is accent lines, links, overstates. Yes, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to use that for the accent color. And the properties, yeah, I'm going to give it a property. So the property is like is used to, okay, we're going to copy the code. Sorry, it's going to be the code. So I'm going to copy the code and right now I'm going to paste the color code right here, and we have our accent color right here. So let's see more color settings we have to do. So it says supporting color and neutral colors. Yes, so we still have a lot to do. So let's proceed to continue with that. So I'm going to create the supporting color. So let's copy this supporting color, come back here, and let's see, let's add a color style. So yes, we're going to say supporting color. So sorry, this will be supporting color. Let's copy that. So this will be the supporting color, and I'm going to copy this for the supporting color. And what is it used for? So it's going to be used for background highlight, section dividers. So let me copy that. Yes, background highlight and section divider. So the color code right now will be copied, which is 66AEDD. So I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste this right here, and I'm going to create the style. That will be the supporting color one, and another supporting color right here. So I'm going to copy that and create a supporting color again. So I'm going to say color, and I'm going to create a supporting color. What is this used for? So this will be used for subtle accents, less dominant CTAs, backgrounds. Yes, I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste this right now. And coming back to properties, I'm going to give the properties, I'm going to give the color code, I'm going to copy this, then I'm going to come back here to paste that, then I'm going to create that style. So that's our supporting color. So let's proceed. We have the neutral colors, so let's create the neutral colors. So let's create the neutral colors right now. So I'm going to name these neutral colors. Yeah, so I'm going to say neutral colors, and this will be the neutral colors. So I'm going to just name it this. Okay, neutral color right there. And description, so the description for the neutral color will be tests, borders, icons. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to just copy the use cases and all that. So this time around I'm just going to leave that for now, then I'm going to start adding the properties. So the first property for this is dark shadow. So I'm going to just copy this and I'm going to paste it right here. So we have that, of course, that will be dark shadow. I'm going to add another color. Yes, I'm going to add another color right now. And okay, so let's leave it at this. So this will be a neutral color, which is the dark shadow. What I want to do now is to say neutral color and I will give it dark shadow. So I'll just give it a bracket. Yes, I'll say bracket. So it's going to be inside the bracket, of course. And should we use normal brackets or the usual brackets? So let me use this normal brackets. Yes, so I'm going to have this neutral color dark shadow. I'm going to just leave it in a bracket and I'm going to paste dark shadow right there. And what is it used for? The use case is right here. So I'll say text, borders, icons. Yeah, copy, and I'm going to paste that. So we have this and I'm going to just have this, then I'm going to create that style. So we have the first neutral color. I'm going to add more neutral colors, of course, as was stated here. So this will be like light beige, so this will be light beige. So I would say a neutral color again. So this will be neutral. Yes, this will be neutral, and these are a bracket. I'm going to paste that. So it's light beige, and I'm going to the use cases for backgrounds, large content areas. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste this right now. Then I'm going to give it the property. The property is this F5F0E1. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it right here. We're going to create that style. So that's the neutral color. So let me edit this, and it says, okay, sorry, it says the neutral color. So it's going to be a neutral color. Yes, it's going to be a neutral color. But yeah, and I'm going to input it in a bracket. So in the brackets, I'm going to just copy what this is, which is light beige or tan. So let me copy that. So it's going to be light beige or tan. So let me just create that. So yes, light beige or tan. So neutral color, I think the all is coming in the way of all these things. So let's just create a neutral color and put it in a bracket. We just say tan. It's going to be tan. So let's say tan, and yes, so we are good to go. So we have that as a neutral color. Yes, so we have this as a neutral color. So let me rename this. So this is a neutral color right now, and I could choose to delete. If I want to delete a style, all I have to do is to click on here to delete a style. So I'm going to say okay, so I'm going to delete this style, delete that style. So let's redo that. So I'm going to give it a local style. I'm going to say color, and the color will be tan. I'm going to just name it a tan color. Yes, so this will be neutral colors. So this will be neutral colors, and this will be tan. I'm just going to name it tan. Yes, tan. So we have that. And what is this used for? So we're going to have the use case. The use case is, let's see, use case right now. So this is one beach. Is a one beach actually. So it says one beach, but let's leave it at that. So I'm going to just use this, and it's going to be background. So let's do backgrounds, large content areas, and type light and neutral for the its ability. So I'm going to just copy the property. The property is right here, so let me copy that right now. I'm going to copy the property, and I'm going to put it right now, and that will create a style for us. So this will be a neutral color. Yes, so I'm going to just name it neutral color, and it says what is the, it says is warm beach. Yeah, so let's just write that. It says warm beach. Okay, beach. So there we are. So we're going to create this, and that will be created. So that's the neutral color, and the last neutral color right here is soft cream. So I'm going to create that right now. I'm going to use the plus button to add a color style, and I'm going to name it a neutral color soft cream. So it's going to be neutral color, neutral colors soft cream. There we are. So this will be soft cream. There we are. And what is it used for? The use case is right here for us, and I'm going to say light backgrounds, form fields, soft accents. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste this right now, and there we are. So the property of the color is this FFF71. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste the property of the color, and there we are. So we're going to have this, and I'm going to create that style. So we are done with the color styles, and here we are, we've created the color styles. As you could see, these are all the color styles. So we could proceed to typography. So right now I want to create the typography style, which is the second. So the for your tech brand, the typography should be modern and readable with an emphasis on clarity. So we're going to talk about the primary font family, and we're going to create that secondary font family, the font color, the spacing and layouts, and we're going to talk about all these right now. So we're going to just proceed to create something like that. So the local styles next is our text, which is typography. So we're going to create the next local style. So let's proceed to do that. So right now for typography, we have the primary font family. So I'm going to copy this. So it's going to be the primary font family. So I'm going to name this primary font family, and the use case is right here. It says for body text, paragraphs, and right here. So I'm going to create that. So for body text, paragraphs. So the properties right now should be set. So the properties starts from the weight. So the weight will be 400, bold, light. Okay, so let's do the weights right now. So let's say the weight should be a regular, or it could be a bold. So let's say bold. a bolded text will not be bad. And the text is roboto. I'm going to search for it right now. Is roboto. So that's roboto for you. The text will be roboto and to be bold. Then it will be a 400 regular, as you could see. That's what it says. So it could be a 400 regular. So let's create that 400 regular. So this will be okay. So let's see what we have right now. So we have weight, we have line height for readability. So the font size would have this, and this is the small text. So the small text, the body text, the heading text, the subheading text, the CTA buttons text. So right now I want to leave it at regular, and the regular should be around 400. That's what it means. So you could actually give this a like a variable font as is if you want to. So let's do what we want to. So let me say, let me apply a variable right now, or let's leave it at that. So let's use a bolded color, and let's come back to the h1. So right now I'll use the h1 to give a font size. So the h1 is 48 pixels, so I'm going to use 48 pixels, of course. So that will be 48 pixels, and let's see what we have. So the line height will be 1.5x. so let's create the line height. The line height should be 1.5, so I'll create 1.5. And the letter spacing, we don't have a letter spacing, as you could see. We just have a weight, which is regular, bold, or light. But right now we have small text, we have the headings. So the headings will be 48 pixels, and that's what we are going to have right now. So we're going to have the headings. So this will be the headings. So we're going to say headings. This will be the text for the headings. So this will be the headings. Yeah, so headings, and we're going to just create this. So this will be the headings, and this is it right now. So we have that, the first heading, and we're going to create the subheading font. So let's create the subheading font, which is s2. So I'm going to create subheading font. I'm going to add a text style again, and I'm going to create a subheading font. And what is it used for? Just leave that for now, and we're going to create 36 pixels. Yeah, so it's going to be roboto, of course. It's going to be roboto, so look for roboto, and it's going to be the regular. So let's leave that regular. So it's going to be how many pixels? It's going to be 20, okay, 36 pixels. So it's going to be 36 pixels. So let's leave it at 36 pixels, and the line height will still be 1.5x as usual. Then we're going to create that style. So we've created the subheading style, and the next thing is the body test. The body test is 16 pixels. Yeah, so the body test is 16 pixels. So I'm going to create the body test. So now this will be the body test. So let me just say body test, and I'm going to say 16 pixels. So let's do that. So it's going to be 16. So this will be roboto. Yeah, and this will be 16. Yes, and this will be regular. The line height will still be 1.5, yeah, pixels. You could leave it at 1.5 pixels. If we have to change anything, we'll change it later on. So that will be the body test. Let's see more tests we can have. So there is a smaller test, there is a CTA button test, but let's leave all that. And there's a secondary font family, so it could be used for navigation, titles, secondary, and others. So we have large headings, we have small subheadings. So let's say we could have, okay, let's say we could have a secondary font family. Should we? So let's do a secondary font family. So we're going to have these headings, but let's just leave it at that. So we're going to leave that. We're going to use roboto throughout. Then we have the spacing and layout grid. So we're going to leave that for now. We don't need the spacing and layout grid for now. Okay, let's set up the layout grid. As you could see, we could set up the layout grid right now. So let's set up the settings. So we're going to set up a 12 column grid with 20 pixel gutter. So let's say this will be our layout grid. Yes, this will be our layout grid. So let's set that right now. So that'll be our layout grid. And what is the use case? So we don't have a use case right now. Let me just set it up. So our layout grid will be the layout grid. So we're going to use either the rows or columns. As you could see, it says 12 column grid. So we're going to use the column. So let's use columns. Yeah, and here we're going to set it. So let's set it right here. And the first thing is 12 column grid, so we're going to make sure it's 12. Yeah, so it's going to be 12 column grid, and we are going to set the next thing, which is 20 pixels gutter and 40 pixels margin. So let's do that. So it's going to be stretch, so this will be 40 pixels margin and 20 pixel gutter. So yeah, there we are. So we're going to create that as well. So we're going to create we just created the layout grid from this guideline and the spacing guidelines. So we're going to just leave all this for now. These values ensure that design remains clean and spacious, giving plenty of breathing room around elements. So the buttons, the secondary buttons, just leave all that. That will be applied when we start having the old design. So right now we've created local styles for this design. We've created the text color, we've created the text, we've created the color, we've not created the effect. So let's add effect. So let's see what we have right now. So we have effect. So we don't have a we don't have an effect here. We don't have effect settings. We don't have local styles for effect. Can you create that for me? Can you create that for me? So let's see if that will be prompted. So I don't think it will go right now, so we are going to have to work on that later on. Or let me copy all this and then I'll refresh. So I would say, okay, let's lay out Figma. Yeah, so, okay, it has brought it out. So we have a style, we have an effect layout right here, the local effect styles. So we have the shadow effect, we have the medium shadow. So let's set it up. So coming back here, we are going to add the effect style. We've added the text local style, we've added the color local style, we've added the grid local style, but we've not added the effect. So let's start with the effect right now. So coming here, we have the shadow effect at first. So we have the soft shadow. So here we have the soft shadow. So let's say soft shadow. I'm going to name this soft shadow. Then description, what is it used for? This will be used for buttons and all that. So let me copy this, so it will be used for buttons as it was indicated here. So the properties will be settings, is going to be drop shadow, of course, and we're going to have the color, which is this. So let's set it up. So we're going to use this right now. So we're going to set up the position and everything. So the offset is 0 pixel and 4 pixels. So the S will be 0, the Y will be 4, of course. The blur will be 12 pixel. So we're going to make this 12 here, and the spread will be 0. Yes, this is spread 0. And the color, see the color right here, which should be an RGBA. So let's choose the color right here. It says it's an RGBA, so let's use RGB, and this is the RGBA. So we're going to use the 00001. That's the color. So it's going to be 0001. So let's do that. So it's going to be 000. Okay, so it's going to be 0001. This will be 1. Yeah, so I'm going to set that. So it's going to be 0001, and that will be the color. Then we have the use case, which is light subtle shadow for most UI elements like button and form field. So let's correct that. So we're going to just do this, and I'm going to create that style. So right now we created our first effect style, as you could see from here. So let's create more shadow as well. So I'm going to come right here. This is the effect styles. I'm going to create the effect styles. I'm going to create more effect styles, and we're going to have the medium shadow. So yeah, the medium shadow is for, so let me copy that. Let me create a medium shadow as well. I'm going to create a medium shadow, and what is it used for? I'm going to say for slightly more elevated elements like modals, larger buttons, or cards. So I'm going to just use this. And properties, I'm going to set the properties right here, and the settings will be okay. So we're going to use this for perfect element that needs emphasis without overwhelming the design. So we're going to just copy this, yeah, and we're going to set it right now. So I'm going to control A this and control V. Yes, and the drop shadow, I'm going to set it right here. So having to set it right now. So the color will be, the offset is 0 pixel 8. So the Y will be 8. So let's say the Y this time around will be 8, and we have 8. Then we have the blur. The blur will be 16 pixels, so let's do 16. It's going to be 16, and the spread will be 0, of course. And the use case here, we've done that, so I'm going to just the color code right now. Yes, we're going to talk about the colors. So it's going to be RGB, and right here is going to be 000. Okay, it's going to be 0.15. Yeah, so it's going to be 0.15 at the very A. So it's going to be 0.15 percentage. So I'm going to just use that, and let's see what that will be like. So I just use that, and all I have to do is to create that stuff. So here we have the medium shadow created, and we're going to proceed. We have the heavy shadow. So if you want an heavy shadow, you have the heavy shadow right now. So let's create the heavy shadow for high impact like pop-ups and all that. So let's create the last shadow effect, and it's going to be drop shadow, and the name would be, so let's see, the name would be heavy shadow. Yes, it's going to be heavy shadow. Yeah, what is it used for? So the use case is for elevated modal windows, drop downs, and interactive sessions. So let's copy that, and this way we just created a local style guide for our design. So we're going to have for elevated shadow, and we're going to set it from here. I'm going to use this button to set it. So let's see what the settings will be like. So this is 0 pixels 12, so the Y will be 12. So let's say 12, and the blur will be 20 this time around. So the blur is 20, and the spread will be 0. Yes, the spread will be 0. Then the color, so let's come to the color right now. So right now I'm going to show the color. The color will be, let's see, the color will be 0.25. So the last thing will be 0.25. So this place will be 0.25. Yeah, so I'm going to have 0.25, and right now we're going to just create the style. So it could be drop shadow, it could be layer blur, it could be anything. So I'm just going to have the style created, and right here I'm going to say, let's see what we have. So I'm going to create that style. So we have this, and you could easily see what it is all about. From here you could see the settings and everything. So we set the effects for our local styles. So we've done the whole local styles, we've done the text local style, the color local style, the effect local style, the grid local style. So we could proceed with our design in the next lesson. I hope to see you in the next lesson. See you there.